Have you ever looked at anyone that you loved and thought, where did you go? Same face, same voice, same person standing in front of you, but something feels different. They're sharper, colder, more defensive, less present, or sometimes they're suddenly charming when they want something or need something. And you start wondering, am I imagining this? Am I being too sensitive? Am I losing my mind? No, you're not losing your mind. Addiction doesn't just change someone's behavior, it changes who shows up in the room. And if you love someone with an addiction, that can break your heart in a very particular way. I'm Megan from Why Won't They Stop? I support women who love someone with an addiction and are trying to stay steady and sane and connected to themselves while living with something deeply painful and confusing. And today, I want to talk about something many people don't know how to put into words: how addiction can change the person you love, not because they've become evil, and not because your love meant nothing, and not because you failed, but because addiction changes priorities, patterns, responses, and relationships. And if you don't understand what's happening, you can end up blaming yourself for a change you didn't cause. One of the hardest parts of loving someone with an addiction is that they're not always the same. Some days they're there. They laugh like they used to. They look at you with warmth, make a joke, and they seem loving. They seem present. And you think, there they are. That's the real them. I just have to hold on a bit longer. And then the switch flips. Same person, completely different energy. Cold, defensive, blaming, avoiding, lying, withdrawing. And suddenly you're the problem. You're overreacting. You're controlling. And you're making a big deal about nothing. And you're the reason why they feel so stressed. And this is incredibly destabilizing because you're not dealing with one constant reality. You're dealing with the person you love and the version the addiction puts in charge. And that is why you can feel so confused, because part of you keeps remembering who they were, and part of you is trying to survive who they're being now. Addiction is not just a bad habit. It's not simply a lack of love. Addiction changes priorities. It trains the brain around one brutal rule: protect the substance, protect the behavior, protect the escape. And when that happens, anything that threatens that addiction can start to feel like a threat. Truth becomes optional, accountability feels dangerous, and connection can feel risky. And you can become the obstacle if you're standing between them and their substance. And that is often when you see behaviors like hiding and minimizing and blaming, being charming or attacking, withdrawing or twisting the truth. Now, let me be clear, that doesn't make the behavior okay. Understanding something is not the same as excusing it, but it does help you stop making everything mean that they don't love me, or I'm not enough, or if I said it better, they would just stop. If I loved harder, they would come back. That's the trap. Addiction may explain some of the behavior, but it doesn't make you responsible for fixing any of it. Shame is often a part of it too. A person caught in addiction may already feel guilt, failure, self-disgust, and even though they'll never say it out loud. And when shame gets too big, many people don't soften. They shut down, they defend, they blame, and they lie. And they attack first because being seen clearly becomes unbearable. Now, again, that doesn't make the behavior okay, but it can help you understand this. Sometimes what you are hearing is not the person you love speaking from their clearest self. Sometimes it's the addiction, shame, and fear speaking through them. And that can be a small mercy to remember. Not so you excuse the damage, but so you don't turn every cruel moment into proof that they hate you or that you meant nothing. Here's the part that's so hard to explain to people who haven't lived it. You don't only lose trust. Sometimes you feel like you lose them, not all at once, not in one big dramatic seen, but in tiny pieces. The way they used to look at you, the way the conversations used to flow, the sense of safety you used to feel, the future that you thought you were building. Yet they're physically still there, and so you're grieving someone who's still alive. And that's brutal. It means you just can't fully mourn, and you can't fully let go, and you can't go back to how it was. You're stuck loving a memory while managing a reality that doesn't match it. No wonder you're exhausted. No wonder you feel confused. And no wonder you keep hoping that the old version of them will come back. And that doesn't make you weak. It means you loved someone deeply and you're trying to make sense of a change that really hurts. And this is why addiction can feel so lonely, because the person may still be there physically, but emotionally, mentally, and relationally, they're completely absent. So you keep trying to reach them. You explain, you plead, you remind them of who they are. You remind them of what they're losing. And you remind them of how much they're loved. And underneath all of that, there's often one quiet hope. If I love them hard enough, the real them will stay. But love doesn't cure addiction. And it's not your job to fight a disease with your heart. Your love may matter. Your presence may matter. Your compassion may matter. But none of that means that you can control whether or not they get well. That responsibility was never meant to sit entirely on your shoulders. And sometimes what keeps you trapped is not only who they are now, it's who you believe they could be, their potential, their good heart, their softer moments, the version of them that you can still see underneath the addiction. And that's painful because potential can be very convincing. But you cannot build your life around who someone might become while ignoring who they are repeatedly being. Hope matters, but hope without truth can become a cage. So here's the hard truth, plain and unsugared. You can love the person and still name the addiction as destructive. You can miss who they were without pretending who they are now is okay. You can have compassion without sacrificing yourself on the altar of hope. You're not weak for grieving someone who is still breathing, because the person you love may not have disappeared all at once. They may have just faded out in front of you, and you had to keep loving them while you were trying to protect yourself from the damage. Again, it's not weakness, it's heartbreaking loyalty. But loyalty to them cannot mean abandonment of yourself. So the question is not only, how do I get them back? Because that question can keep you trapped. The better question may be, how do I stay myself while loving someone who is changing? How do I stay grounded? How do I stop living in constant panic? How do I tell the truth without being cruel? And how do I set boundaries without drowning in guilt? And how do I love them without losing myself? That's where your real work begins. Not because you're the problem, but because you are the person you still have some power to protect. This video names something you've been carrying quietly. Please know this. You do not have to carry this alone. I've created free support for women who love someone with an addiction and are trying to make sense of what they're living through without blame, shame, or hype. You can find a link below to join my free training and stay connected through my weekly emails. And if this helped you, please like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment with one word that describes what this has felt like for you. Confusing, lonely, exhausting, heartbreaking. Whatever your word is, you're probably not the only one who feels it. I'm Megan from Why Won't They Stop. I'm glad you found your way here today. Take care of yourself too, and I'll see you in the next video.